Good evening. I have made some progress with the Amiga 2000. I guess you could call it progress. It's just to do with having removable media available on the system here, which is quite handy. And yeah, got SCSI devices here. Our SupraDrive removable there. G'day Neo, how's it going? I've been playing. I had a really good play last night while I was lurking on Carcinomi's stream. And yeah, so I've got some updates with the old Amiga. Just having a good old play, really. Yeah. Oh, not warm. You need to get those cats snuggle into the cats, eh? A couple of hot water bottles. Yep, I'm good. Very good, thank you. So I've got a setup here that makes it easy for me to play around with different operating systems and, you know, go through procedures and things like that. Now, it'll come out in the wash as to what I'm trying to achieve here. So it'll become clear, put it that way. Yeah. Oh, okay. You need a cat door, man. A cat door with, we had a cat door with a magnet, so the cat had a magnet yeah. Actually, when we upgrade our one, because we're going to a microchip job, because we'll have Alice microchipped, and you know, the door will only let microchipped cats, and or the appropriate microchipped cat. Whereas the one we've got at the moment, I'm hoping we've still got all this. We've definitely got the cat door, and the collars that just have a couple of magnets on it. And when we change it over, I can send you the old one. So yeah, let us know if you do want it. I'll let you know once we get it upgraded. Yeah, you don't have to have the magnet on. You can just have it as free in and out. You can lock it so that only incoming is blocked, or you can block it outgoing blocked both ways, or only allow cats with the magnet on the collar to come and go. So pretty handy. Oh yeah, yeah. We had the glass cut for it. Anyway, I have here a SupraDrive removable, and as you can see there, they are SciQuest cartridges. Have any problems with them, but I guess that's a potential issue. So I did a little bit of prep late this afternoon, just before tea, so that I'm at the point where I've got a fresh Workbench 3.1, and if you know, you'll know from previous streams that this computer here, this Amiga 2000, had a Workbench, had a 2.0 ROM in it. I think it might have been 2.04. I've upgraded the ROM to 3.1 because I want to put OS 3.5 on. Now, I don't have a a retail copy of OS 3.5 as an original, but I've got it on disc, on CD. It came in the stash of bits and pieces with the computers that I bought. That's my story anyway. So anyway, let's just have a little play here. You should hear this drive crank up, man. I'll put the microphone up near the drive so you can get a little bit of an idea of the sound that these things make here. So we'll just crank up the SupraDrive. Now, I've got noise filtering on too, to a certain extent, so you're not getting the full whack, but it gives you an idea. I also have here, so this here is running via this SCSI zip drive, right? So I've got the SCSI zip drive here, and the Super SCSI removable here, and a SCSI CD-ROM. The idea is to use these SupraDrive discs. Show you this one. So when you push the button, you'll see the light slowly blinks fast and then gets slower and slower. If I just put that back in, you'll see it. And as it speeds up, it gets faster. That's the platter spinning up and spinning down. So once it's locked in, it's ready. You hit the button. Before you can eject it, you hit the button here, and you'll see the light flashes slower and slower until it's off, and that means it's all ready to eject, like so. And that is the SciQuest 44 megabyte removable cartridge. So basically, it's a removable hard drive. Really, really handy. Mainly just so that when I'm streaming and bits and pieces, and if I wanted to change the operating system or whatever, or you know, I wanted to swap disks, I can just do it easily. I don't have to go unplugging and plugging hard drives in. The downside to this is that these are only 44 megabytes, right? But I mean, this is just for the operating system. You don't need a lot of space. So that's the plan. Fuzzy SCSI. And so the other part of the plan is that I've got a zip drive, right? That I can just, as a non-operating system, well, it boots. If I have I mean, I tested it last night. I put a bootable operating system onto a zip disk and it works fine. But if I don't have bootable operating system, it's basically just like adding another hard drive. Bloody handy. So crank up the Amiga. Yeah, isn't it? So we have a basic, I've got a really clean, it's a clean 3.1 install. I might have to change the focus on that. Just a fraction. Fairly clean. Now, just as a reference, and it's pretty handy to know if you're dealing with this stuff. Let me just see if I can sort that focus out. I think that's about, it's not too bad. I may have gone through some of this in previous streams. Sometimes I forget exactly what I've gone through. I'll try not to go over too much of the same ground. But if we have a look here, if we go into the tools here, the HD toolbox, because I'm running the Great Valley Plains SCSI controller, the GVP, I have to have this. I have to have this here in this line here, right? SCSI device name equals GVP SCSI.device. The default for that is just SCSI.device. So that's looking for probably, you know, like an Amiga A2090 or 2091 SCSI controller. But because this is a GVP one, this is the driver name for it here. So that needs to be changed to be reflected up here. And that way, when we run HD Toolbox, it can see the controller. And so there's the SciQuest drive up here. That one there's the CD-ROM drive, and that is the zip drive in it. I think the zip drive says unknown because I don't have a disk in it. And if we change that, I'll put a disk in. Probably hop back out of here. You'll see it should pick it up, or I might have to boot with it, like I might have to boot the system with the zip in it. But now you can see there it's picked it up as the iAmiga zip. But we still don't have any drives because I think it needs that reboot. I'll make some room on my desk here. Yeah, there it is there. So I split it up into two partitions, games and work for that's on the zip. It's about 50 meg each. Just move that because my the old tripod's in the way there. Right, so yeah, it's logical. The logical drives rather than physical. Well, so in this case, it's two. In my understanding, anyway, it's two logical drives on a single hard drive. And basically, you know, if you're dealing with DOS, it's like C and D, right? But on the Amiga here, if we go into Tools and to the HD Toolbox again, and let's say the SciQuest drive, we have a look at partition. It's one big partition, right? One big chunk. It's bootable. That's where my Workbench 3.1 is. If we go into the zip drive, you see we've got two partitions, DH1 and DH2. So that DH1 is my games, DH2 is my work. It's basically, this is more like the hardware label, if you know what I mean, and the likes of games and work is more like the software label. But you can access, like games, you can access in the disk operating system, you can access it by just referencing games, or you can reference DH1, or system is DH0 and work is DH2. So they're interchangeable, those two naming systems. So what I was going to do is, just because I'm kind of set up for it now, kind of been putting together a bunch of tools and bits and pieces that I use to build a system, pretty much get it to where I want it reasonably quickly. And that is, you know, basically installing the CD-ROM. What else do I like to do? Oh, so to do that, you've got to get the extraction software, which is LHA. It's kind of like zip. You need to get that onto the machine, and then you need to install an installer. Sounds weird, eh? Install an installer. As I say, I might have gone through this before, but install the installer, and then I need to install some software called IDE Fix, and that makes this the CD-ROMs just a cinch to get going. And although it's IDE Fix, IDE Fix actually supports SCSI drives as well, which I wasn't aware of. And then once I get that done, I've got my CD-ROM working, I can then go and do an upgrade to OS 3.5. And I went through the motions last night, tested all this out. So I just wanted to sort of get prepared so I could do a reasonably coherent stream without sort of too much messing around. But I thought today it'd be quite nice to just go through the process, and it's just handy information to know, and it's quite good to, as a reference, even just for myself, to go back to some of my videos and watch them. But you know, I do document this as well, so you know, I've got it in written form as well. So we'll just show all files here. So you can see there we've got lha.run. That's the LHA pre-packaged file, and then we've got the installer, and then we've got IDE Fix. I managed to fit all that onto one floppy disk. So we'll just run a command. Just some of this is easy to do in the shell, especially before you get some of the tools. But anyway, this is easy enough to do. So LHA, and then X is the extract command, or flag, whatever you want to call it, switch. Then you just point to the file, which will be df0. Oh, no, I'm talking crap. Basically, if I just copy LHA run into the RAM disk here, just jumping the gun a bit there. One thing with the Supra and the zip drivers, they're a little bit slower than a standard SCSI hard drive, as you'd imagine. But, you know, I'm prepared to take that hit. Okay, so we've got LHA run in there. I'll just run that, lha.run, and that'll extract these files here. And the idea is that if you're running a stock Amiga, 68,000 Amiga, you just rename that LHA_68K and to just LHA, and likewise if you're running an 040 or an 020. Yeah. Yeah, having the partitions is quite handy because they're kind of like containerized, and you can, so effectively, if let's say I had on the zip drive, for instance, if I was using that as a bootable system, if I had the operating system on DH0, it's a little bit like Windows on C drive, and you've got all your data on D drive. You could, if you wanted to, just blow away the Windows install you know, and reinstall Windows and your data's still intact, you know, it's just a bit like that, yeah. So, pretty handy. So, just rename. Yeah, I see Carcinomi's playing again tonight. That was a blooming marathon stream he did last night. I put these streams up on YouTube too, so for people that might be watching this on YouTube, Carcinomi, friend of the channel, is on Twitch. So if you go to Twitch and look up Carcinomi, he's a great guy into retro gaming, retro computers, PCs, Amigas, all sorts of stuff. Very entertaining stuff. That's the one. Twitch.tv/Carcinomi. Thanks, Neo. All right, so we rename LHA. I notice there's no 030 version. So I'm just going to rename the 020 version. 68020 to LHA. And then just copy LHA to C. And then, so now we should have LHA installed, and we do. Cool. Next thing is to extract the installer. So now we've got LHA installed. We can go LHA X DF0 installer -43. You can find this stuff on Aminet. .lha. That should extract to the RAM, my current directory. So it's just reading the floppy drive there. Yeah, was it 9 hours Carcinomi streamed for last night? I watched most of it. It was, as I say, I was lurking while I was mucking around with all this. So now if we show all files inside that extracted folder in the RAM drive, we've got installer there, right? So basically you just, if we go to, where is it? I'm just trying to, yeah. System C. CK3? What's CK3? And now I've got installer into the C on the system. The installer works. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So now the installer is installed. I can now install IDE Fix. Now, where did I put? Did I close? Oh, I think I closed it, didn't I? Yeah, IDE Fix. Oh, yeah. Oh, I must have a look at that at some stage. So this is extracting the IDE fix to the RAM disk. Yeah. Update. And now I can just go install software. Now the thing with IDE Fix is it's sort of a two-step process. So if we install this package, okay, read that. Agree. Now the serial number is Amiga Forever, because I actually own the Amiga Forever Premium Edition 2014. That one there. And it has the license for this IDE Fix. So I'm just going to, I mean, I'm sure, I'm happy to sort of give away that sort of stuff, but I don't think it's, I think it's one of those things you have to buy. So I better not be too naughty about it. Just have to find that. Find that file. I've done this a few times. I should know the bloody key off by heart by now. Right. And for some reason it defaults to the work, which I think is actually probably quite a good drive. I don't want to fill up my... Is that a good idea? Just trying to think. Do I put it into my 44 megabyte disk or not? Because it needs to be rerun, and if I don't have this specific zip disk in, yeah, I might just put this into system, I think. Proceed. Now the Find Device program, sorry, will be launched. And if I click GBP SCSI there, it picks up the Pioneer CD-ROM. If I click Use, which you can't see because it's off the bottom of the screen here, how many disks fit into your CD-ROM? 1. I just choose the defaults here. Would you like CD-ROM drive to be automatically mounted upon boot? Yes. And I'm just going to make it CD1. Proceed. Mount it now. Yes. Should the CD? Yes. Kill dev? Yes. Eject utilities. Audio player. I don't think I'll install the audio player because I'm putting Hippo Player on. And there's a CD32 emulator. Which is useless on this system. Proceed, and I would imagine if I put a CD into the drive, we should, hopefully, we should have a working CD. And we do. That's the Aminet CD11. Okay, so that is what's required basically to get the system to a point where it makes things reasonably easy to install. Now the nice thing about this is, I mean, if I want to change the operating system, I can. If I had another disk with another operating system on, I can literally just you know, eject this Supra disk here, SideQuest disk, put another one in, boot the system, bam, I'm onto a different OS. Or if I wanted to get some files onto this computer, which I will do fairly soon, is I can just eject this disk here, put that disk into my zip drive that's down on the floor here, on this computer on the floor, old Stormy, and then mount it in WinUAE, copy the files across that I want, and then plug it back in here nice and quick. And I don't have to constantly be sort of unplugging and plugging in hard drives, which is no huge deal either. But I mean, this is just a bit more convenient and fun to play with. That's the way I look at it. Okay, so that leads us to installing Workbench. Oh, yep. Cool, mate. Good to see you. Yeah, no worries. All under control here at the moment. That's Carcinoma. He's multitasking, is he? Workbench 3.5. Now, what I would like to do, which is a little bit more difficult because I don't have the appropriate SCSI controller card, is to be able to plug in the SupraDrive into my PC and take images of these discs, these cartridges. I can't do that. I can take images of my zip drive because I've got a USB zip drive plugged into old Stormy down here. That beastie down there on the floor, the black one. There's a zip drive sitting right, you can see the light on just there, that's the USB zip drive. So I can image these these zip drives, no worries. This is a different story. I'm going to look out for a SCSI controller that has the appropriate connector on it, so that I can, if I want to, mount this up, get images out. Okay, let's switch you back here. OS 3.5, here we go. So at this point, you know, I could, if I had the right SCSI card, is I could take this cartridge out, image it as it is, just in case something goes wrong, or I want to use this as a sort of like a snapshot. I could image this removable cartridge and then just go ahead and do whatever I like on this system. And if something screws up, I can just restore the image back on, or I want to start from scratch, I can do so. So this is the OS version 3.5 install. And this, I didn't realize last night, but this is a two-step, like a two-step installation. So you need to do this pre-install first. Pre-installation. This installation copies the icon.library, the new workbench, and new data types on your hard disk. If necessary, certain files of the old installation will be saved, like your data types. What I want to do at some stage is I actually want to have a little play with installing this from scratch without going over the top of 3.1. Well, I've got 3.5 here, right? It's not quite true to label. See here, yeah, the first step, installation of release 3.5 is now complete. To enable release 3.5, you must reboot your computer. And then I think you run that installation again, the second one. Yes, I would like to get a legit copy. I've got 3.9 legit. I've got a 3.1 legit. I've got 2.0s, 2.04, 2.05, 1.3s, all legit, you know, on floppy. Now we just go in here, we run this again, but we choose the second option this time. Yeah. No, I don't have any need to fly to Cairns. Okay, main install, proceed. This program lets you install 3.5 of Amiga OS on the hard drive. It can be used to upgrade an older release, control which languages, blah, blah, blah. Proceed. Set the agreement. I'll just choose the expert user, no expert, but this program installs, do you want to proceed? English, yes. No printers, no. American key map, yes. Would you like to install the backdrops to the presets? See, I'm thinking that this is going to leave me with bugger all hard drive space, because I know that when I did it on the zip drive last night that I ended up using half of the zip, so it's like over 50 meg, and this is asking for 10 megs. I'm not going to do that. I mean, I could end up even filling the drive as it is now. I'm just not sure. We'll see. Yeah. So this might be an inappropriate operating system to put on a 44 megabyte removable disk. But anyway. This drive was dead when I got it, actually. It had a burnt out resistor. Got that all working, and then I blew the power supply up. I blew it up on camera, not on stream, not live, but I'd made a YouTube video about it. and I left my mistake in there because the way I think about it is not everyone's perfect and people make mistakes, and I made a mistake and with the power supply and blew one of the primary caps up. I've since replaced the power supply in this SupraDrive. Yeah. Cheers, Mev. You know, I saw those jumper wires, and what I should have done in hindsight is I should have just stopped filming and gone back and reviewed my footage, because I didn't take photos of that bloody power supply when I took it apart. And I saw 2 jumper wires floating loose, and I thought, shit, did I bump those? Did I knock those and they've become separated? And I joined them together, effectively turning it into 110 volt, and it just blew. Oh, yeah. Shit. Live and learn. I take photos of just about everything now. You know, before I even start on something, just photograph the hell out of it. It would have saved. Anyway, luckily it didn't do any damage. And, you know, the drive's still working. I didn't blow the drive up, just blew the power supply. I've put a new modern power supply in this. And, yeah. And I was a bit concerned about leaving, you know, the posting footage like that of making a friggin' mistake like that. And that's, as say, I made a mistake. I'm happy to admit, you know, I don't know everything, and I try and look after stuff. I don't ruin much stuff, hardly anything actually. I'm pretty careful, so just the odd time something might go wrong, right? It's a cool little drive though. This SupraDrive. Yeah, it seems to be reasonably reliable. Hopefully don't jinx it. But seems to be ticking away quite nicely. I have bugger all room to work with though, I can see that. Is that Alice? Just, you can leave that door open if you like. She might come in. Alice is floating around. No, it's not an LS120. I wish I had an LS120 actually. Pretty hard to get now. It's a SciQuest, repackaged SciQuest cartridge. Let me show you. Yeah, that's it. Removable. Yeah. 44 meg. 44 megabytes. Huge. Oh yeah. Oh, I've got some news about that tape drive too, Mavunki. I think you were interested in what was going on there. So this is the other tape drive I've got. And we knew that this... yep, I've got... Oh, well, not actual drives. I've got discs, right? I've got the actual cartridges. I've got 8, 9... I've got 9 cartridges. But I think we were talking about this This is the other tape drive I've got. It's this Wangtec job. Oh yeah. This I knew had an issue because I couldn't turn this here. It was stiff, and I think I know why. It's because the capstan rubber. Let's get my side light on here. You know, it's a common problem, right? Yeah, just right down in here, you might be able to see the rubber's bitten the dust, the capstan's, yeah, gone, kafooey. So I think if I repair that, and I think you can, that might be a goable drive, you know. I'm not sure. The heads on it actually look quite good on that compared to that other one that I've got. So that's something to possibly have a play with. So I'm keeping an eye out for SCSI tape drives and bits and pieces just to mess around with on the old Amiga here, just for old time's sake, right? The media, what for the Supra? Oh yeah. So I found a whole bunch of tapes, and I did the other night. I went through and I was testing a drive, and this other drive, the one with this one here, this with the crosses on it, and it actually it catalogued a tape, but it didn't. Yeah, the tape, the drive, there's definitely something up with the drive. I'm not 100% sure whether it's just termination or a combination of termination and cable positioning, etc., etc. I'm not convinced fully that it's faulty, 100%, but it seems like it. But on that stream, I was using a tape. You know, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these. There's a couple with broken bands, but the bands actually held out long enough for me to do said testing. You know, it was rewinding, fast forwarding, retensioning, trying to catalog, you know, trying to back up, trying to restore. But I think the drive was letting me down in the end. Oh, yeah. I know. I mean, we chucked out stuff like that too. It's just, you know, you think, when will I ever use a SCSI bloody tape drive again that's only capable of holding, what, 60 meg or something? I don't know. Oh, 250 meg, you know. When will I ever use it? In the bin. Oh, yeah. Now, I'm curious as to why that CD-ROM was saying that disk is not initialized. Wondering if that install screwed my CD-ROM over. Oh no, it's working. Yes, I've got a tape drive in my HP calculator. Well, it's, I don't know whether you call it a calculator or a computer, but It's a massive calculator, and it's got a tape drive, one of the smaller ones, in it. Yeah. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with Curious Mark on YouTube. He does quite a bit of old HP gear, and he's got a couple of slightly different models to the one I've got, but he's tried restoring the tape drives, and it's not an easy thing. Capstan issues again. So here we go. You know what? It's only 16% full. It's interesting. And I seem to remember these icons being more colourful than this too. I'm just going to try a reboot there. Yep. Yeah, the one I've got is goo, or crunchy, maybe even crunchy bits falling off it. It's not healthy, I know that. You see, I thought these icons were more colourful, but maybe I just need to change the colour depth, eh? Yeah. So this, yeah, you can see the drive's quite slow, eh? I mean, it's not bad. Okay, we've got 4 colours. Let's go crank up 16 colour. See what that looks like, eh? That looks more like it. Save that. That's a little bit more colourful. That's what I was looking for. Okay. In fact, you know, if I wanted to transfer stuff onto this computer, I could use the rewritable disk too. That's the other option. But it takes quite a long time. If you're doing a huge amount of data, it's probably okay. It's worthwhile. But if you're just doing little bits and pieces, it's actually more convenient just to take the drive out. So I was doing this with physical hard drive. So I was taking the physical hard drive out, and I was chucking it into old Stormy down here, and mounting that through WinUAE. But now what I can do is, for instance, if I wanted to get some music onto this zip disk here, I can, even while the system's running, right, just pop the disk, crank up a whole Stormy, put the disk into the zip drive there, and we run WinUAE. and I've got a configuration here which I just load up for this one. And if we add a drive, it will add a hard file just to get something booting. I don't know, it doesn't really matter. Just latest backup's probably quite good because it's got all my directory opus and things like that on it. So that's my boot drive, and then I can go add hard drive, and the zip drive should be there, right? RDB 96 megabytes. Add the hard drive and crank her up. That's fine. It's just looking for my SCSI CD-ROM drive. Keyboard. Sorry, it's probably a bit hard to see there, but I just can't find directory opus either. Okay, that's all right. So what I can do is now I've got this. We'll put the music into work, for instance. So this is the zip drive here, and over on the right here, that's my actual boot. So we'll find music in here. You can see I've got all that there, and I can literally just. So this is copying from a hard file to the zip disk. That could take a while, actually. In fact, it might fill the disk because I think I've only got 50 meg on each. I probably should have kept it as one partition, 100 meg. Anyway, you get the idea. So this will work out fairly well, I think, where, you know, if I'm streaming or whatever, I've got different operating systems on hand if I want to swap things around. It's pretty handy for me when I'm just sort of playing around as well. And I like to explore different operating systems and things like that, so yeah. So I can have like a workbench, probably even a 1.3, and a workbench 2, a workbench 3, workbench 3.5, 3.9, you know, just because I can. Kind of cool to play around with. That's the sort of stuff I like to do. I could probably have sped this up slightly in the emulator, maybe, but we're probably restricted to the transfer rate of the zip drive, I would say. It's filling up. Even meg free. Okay, it's full. So I'm hoping that if I cancel it, it'll leave behind cancel. So we should, by rights, have a music folder in here. Yep. Okay. So apart from the fact I ran out of hard space on the zip disk, I can now literally, even while all this is running, I can just eject. If the eject button on my zip drive is no good, I can manually eject it. And then I can just yoink that into there like that. Yeah. CD's pretty handy. Pretty handy. And now if I go to work, right, we should have music. There we go. Oh, I've even put Hippo Player there. So and I have, if you're looking for CD stuff, you will see, actually, I'll do it on stream. I'll show you what I've got double ups of. Let's do that now, actually, because, I'm just messing around with that music player. Sorry to get sidetracked, but this is the double ups. So this will be something that I'll be looking to pass on, trade/sell. Speaking of CDs, right? Got my nice tidy desk down here. Alice likes to play with these vintage Amiga screws over here. That's one of her favourite games at the moment. I just have to make sure she doesn't bat any off the... Because, like they're Amiga, right? They're special... Got special screws, special screws. They've got that Amiga look about them. Can't have her. So I gave her some modern screws, black ones from PC. They just didn't cut it. She wants the classy Amiga ones. This is probably the pick out of the whole lot, I would say. It's the Diggers and Oscar for the CD32. Not that, I don't know if you've got a CD32, Evil C. It's some of this stuff is probably not much use really. I mean, fonts and clip art. That is a double up. That's a CD32/CDTV, Grolier Encyclopedia. I mean, they're really just, what do they call it? The word will come to me. You know, that it'll be as out of date as anything. Just good to have a play with, really. Wordworth 6. Do I really want to unpack the whole lot? You know, this stuff here, Aminet, cover discs, Learning Curve, Magic Publisher, Final Writer, etc., etc., Aminet, Amiga format, and I'll just give you a quick look down here. More Aminets. Oh, you do have a CD32. Okay. I mean, if you want, yeah, there's that that game, and there's some other stuff in here. A few cover discs, more Aminets, the AGA Experience. You know, that would be something that you could probably run on your CD32. I'm assuming. I don't know. Haven't tried it, but they're all double ups. So I'll be looking to move those on. Yeah. Well, there must be a few of us in this group now that have got CD32s, eh? Carcinomi, yourself. I'm sure there's more of us that have do have CD32s. It's the CD TV would be something I'd like to get my hands on one day, but geez, I can't imagine I ever will. And I guess it's one of those things you look at for a while, and you know, I mean, it's really cool. It'd be really cool to have. I know Carcinomi's got one. Would be cool to have. Right. I was installing Hippo Player. So those two I don't bother with at this stage. So Hippo Player, group into S, and whereabouts do I have to? Yeah, this here. This is why I like Directory Opus. So that's what I should install next, actually. I mean, I can do this without, and I can do this through the command line as well, but sometimes this is just easier. and then libs. Did I see libs? Libs somewhere? Yep. Basically everything in the libs. A bit slow, that disk game. Oh yeah, yep. That I think is all, and then I just have to get the update, Hippo Player update on there. I've got this down to bloomin' fine art now. So that hippoplayer.group needs to go into, was it S, wasn't it? Yeah. So that's part of the update. And I think this plays ID library as well, goes into the libs. So I'll probably just do that from here, Copy. Oh, just wildcard.group should do that first one to S. Yep. Yep, there's some CU ones there. What else do I need? So that one will go to libs. And then hip and hip info will go, where should I put that? Probably just, even in the system would probably be fine. What was the other one? Hip.info. And that should be the old Hippo Player installed. Here he is. I'll just actually, yep, it's running. I'll just leave him out. So he's on the desktop as such. and we should be able to add volumes. Where did I put it? Work, music. It's coming off the zip disk. That should be what happened there. Uh-oh. Is it playing? I've got it down pretty low, haven't I? I really wish I had bought more of those magazines back in the day. I think when the magazines were out with the CDs like that, I was probably into the PC. Amiga was probably off the radar completely by then, which is a shame, but that's just the way it was, you know. But yeah. So there we have Amiga Workbench, or Amiga OS 3.5, Workbench version 44.2. Pretty cool, pretty cool. And I mean, you saw how easy it was to just dump those music files onto that zip disk, you know, pretty straightforward. Once the old Stormy's up and running, it's just a matter of whipping the disk out, junk, and then just mounting it, as you saw, copying the files, bring it back. Nice and easy. Pretty cool. So next thing I would kind of like to do is maybe WHD load. I've done that before on stream, so I won't go through that again, but that's something that I quite like doing this too, because it gets you practiced on the workflow to set up a system, and it's good practice, and it sort of irons out any issues you might come across and things like that. I like doing that sort of stuff. I like setting systems up like this and then just basically don't do anything with them. It's like, I play some games, stuff like that, you know. It's kind of cool having the old music player there. Yeah. Yeah. I find that it's I spend all this time sometimes setting them up and then just sort of go on to something else. But then it's nice to come back to, and you know. Speaking of games, I've got a controller, it's a CD32 controller. It's a third-party job. It's a Competition Pro, but it's not working. Well, not entirely. The buttons work. These buttons seem to work, but this here, no go. Keep the numpad. Excuse me, the D-pad, sorry. And I'm not sure if it's just a connection issue or what's going on. But it looks like quite a nice controller for the CD32 actually. You can do things like auto fire and all sorts of stuff. See this? Look at this. What's going on there? It's when it's trying to load another track and then comes right. That seems a bit strange, doesn't it? Or is, I don't know. It's going to say, is the disk too slow or something and it's just taking too long to load? I don't know. Seems a bit strange. Speaking of which, let's put sysinfo on here and just see what sort of performance these drives are getting. Now I can't fit any more into the work folder because it's full of music. I'm going to have to put sysinfo into the games folder. That's the Hippo player. That's what we're listening to. The Hippo player is playing mod files. It can play MP3s and whatnot as well. Hippo player. Let me just stop Hippo player. Or no, I'll stop. Will I stop it? Pause, eject. Pause, eject, stops it. Right. Okay. Sysinfo. Let's check out well, good question. I watched a video on, this is an 030. I should try an MP3, shouldn't I? I watched a video where the guy was using Hippo player and he was playing MP3s, but he was doing it through an emulator, and I suspect it might have been like cranked to the max. So I don't think on a classic system MP3 is practical. I'm not sure. I've not tried it. Drives. So let's check this is the Supra. It won't be good. Yep, 533. So it's half a meg per second, right? The hard drives, SCSI hard drives, I get a meg, just over a meg a second. So it's half the speed on a normal drive. Right. Yeah, it's fast enough, eh? I was surprised that this drive still works, actually. And as I say, I fixed that resistor and that sorted it, but you can just see it's going to fail at some stage, eh? It's just one of those things. I'm not going to. So I'm pleased to get it on stream here, and this video will make its way to YouTube. So I'll be able to, when this SupraDrive turns to dust, I can go back and look at it again. Yeah. Let's check the zip DH1. SCSI zip drive. Nearly as fast as the hard drive. Really close. I mean, the hard drive is, I think, literally about a meg. And this is nearly a meg. It's pretty quick. This has always interested me as to why, you know, this is a, yeah, yes. So, yes, that'll be slowing it down heaps, eh? This is a 25 megahertz 030, right? But for some reason, it's not as fast as a 25 megahertz 030 Amiga 3000. And see, it's just short of it. I'm not quite sure. I guess something to do with architecture or memory or something. I don't know, but it's not quite there. It doesn't really worry me because I've got two Amiga 3000s, but it's a curiosity, you know. Actually, I must get the drives out of those Amiga 3000s and back them up as well. They're SCSI drives. I think one of them had an IDE drive in it. Yeah, that's on the job list. I've backed up all of the other SCSI drives I've got, imaged them, so I can mount them up on the WinUAE. That's pretty handy. But yeah, I was keen to try this controller again. And you can hear the old SupraDrive's just sitting there spinning away. Even though the computer's turned off, the drive is still on. Now I just want to double check. It's funny because the socket here, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it's plugging fully in, but maybe it is. Just looking at that. It just feels sort of tight and like it's not going in. It's definitely in there now. Doing some testing. Oh yeah, it's Amiga heaven, all right. Oh, you must replace volume sysinfo df1 and device. Oh, yeah, okay, it doesn't like me. Righto, whatever. Get fussy. No, I don't. Yeah, I probably should link them in, eh? I did think about that. Yeah. So the button here is definitely working. Yeah, so no left and right, no up. Got jump, and I will have fire, I'm sure. See this controller, you can hit the slow switch and it slows the game down. The shoulder buttons work. That's handy. Yep. So yeah, this supports the original CD32 controller. I think there's a fault with this pad, although, I mean, could it be a compatibility thing? I don't know. I should try it on the CD32, shouldn't I? Because I seem to remember this working. And so you can set the switches, right? So left is just normal switch position. So you've got green, yellow, red and blue for the appropriate buttons. And switch left is off, middle is turbo, and right is auto. So it could be good for some shooter games as well. Yeah, right. Yeah. So I'm not quite sure. I need to get the multimeter right and test the connections and maybe take it apart, have a look under here, see what's going on with contacts, things like that. See what's going on there. Yeah. Bit of a bugger that's not working, but yeah, something to put on the list of jobs to do. Yeah, possibly. I see people saying, "Oh, you shouldn't clean those pads with isopropyl alcohol," which, you know, I think it might be a little bit too harsh on it. Sort of makes sense, really. The pads, contacts, for your controllers and things, keyboards and things like that with carbon contacts. Apparently, isopropyl. I think it rubs, too much of the compound off, the carbon compound. You can get special paints, apparently, like a carbon type paint to, restore those pads. You can get it for like remote controls and things like that. Works quite well, apparently. So quite good for restoring keyboards and whatnot. Yeah, pretty handy. Okay, well, wondering what else I can do here. Yeah. Yes, so the PCB is safe enough to clean, but the actual, yeah, I've cleaned them with isopropyl and haven't had any issues. But okay, as you say, Evil C, it's a matter of being gentle with it. Yeah. What else can I show you? I backed up I've got a couple of A590s that I backed up the drives in as well. That was part of my SCSI drive backup regime that I've been going through. Yeah. Directory Opus. Gotta get Directory Opus on here. Xcopy, that's another thing. So this is, you know, a little list of bits and pieces that I go through and for my installs. Xcopy Pro. Some machines are a little bit fussy actually with Xcopy. Depends on the version really, but I think Xcopy should live on the system disk here, just because it's handy to have, especially if I'm messing around actually ejecting zip drives, zip disks and things like that. Is it going to be happy? Seems happy. Yep. Xcopy in all its glory. Don't ask me where I got that version. You know, just you find stuff on floppy disks. Naughty, I know, but surely it's abandonware now. Would it be? I don't know. Directory Opus is still a thing, right? You can buy, as far as I know, last time I looked, which was a while ago, but you can buy Directory Opus for Windows. I'm quite curious about that actually. Yeah. Cool, eh? I love how on the Amiga you can do a pretend install or install for real. Oh, why not put it? Gonna have to put it into the system, surely. Need it there. Once you've used Directory Opus on an Amiga, it's hard to go back to not using it. I can manage, you know, it's just a bit more clunky. I can use the command line to a certain extent. I'm reasonably proficient with it. I'm just very rusty. So when I'm rusty, I just fire up Directory Opus and do all my file transfers that way. I'm missing my Picasso. That's in this machine down here, which I haven't been using much. I've been, as you know, from previous streams, I've been pretty obsessed with this little O3.0 machine here. I put a version 3.1 ROM in, obviously, just to accommodate these later OSs. Have a look at some junk over there while I do this. You probably see this later anyway, I don't know. But I mean, does it really matter? Okay, we're running Directory Opus. I want to quit it because I've got the update, 5.11 update to put on there. I'm curious as to why I'm getting that yellow guru screen when I'm playing music files, Hippo. I don't normally get that. If I'm running this from a hard drive, I don't get that issue. I've only really scratched the surface with Directory Opus as well. I know it's a lot more powerful than what I use it for. Its simple file copies and things like that. You can use it for comparing folders and it's got an extraction utility, uses LHA. And so that's built in. It's pretty handy. So it's kind of like, using 7-zip. You can you can't right click on here, but you can virtually just extract a file to a different location. It's pretty handy. Oh yeah, 2014. That's the latest version, yeah? 2024 for Windows. Yeah, that's cool. I wonder what that late version looks like for the Amiga. You know, I'd just about be prepared to to buy it for the Amiga, you know, or possibly even Windows. I'd have to. I'm not sure how much use it would be in Windows, but could be handy. Oh yeah, that's cool. I might look into that just for shits and giggles, eh? 20% full now. You can see that, you know, it takes a fair bit to fill these drives up. It's still only 20% full, this 44 meg. So this installs the LHA directory toolbar. Proceed. Done. Done. And I will leave that out. Thank you. Hopefully it runs. Hello. Oh. Oh, do I need... I think I need a reboot. I hope that's all I need. Yeah. So interesting, eh? That directory Opus and you've got Sysinfo was developed in Australia as well. Ooh, yeah, it's not cheap, is it? Oh, I need to reserialize this. I probably should have done the update first. Oh well. I wonder if he provides an update path from Amiga. Nice. Very nice. See, the thing is, sometimes, you know, like I just ran the Hippo player from within directory Opus, and it's not apparent that it's running, but if you know, come down here, you can see it's running in behind Opus there. You know. That doesn't sound right, does it? And the play button's enabled again. And if I just leave this, I think it just comes right. Yeah, I didn't click the button. Is that sounding okay? Back in a sec, guys. Okay, I think that's about it for this one. I don't really have anything else interesting to show you at this stage. Yeah. But yep, that was oh, thanks Mev. I enjoy it. I love messing around with this old stuff, and yeah, it's good to have this machine up and running nicely. I'm not quite sure exactly. I'll mount the CD-ROM in here. Let me switch it over. I think what I'll do is I'll mount the CD-ROM properly in here. And then just put the lid on. And then maybe, you know, I can have these two drives just sitting on top of the lid. There's that bloody yellow screen again. recoverable alert. That's weird. I'm interested to see if that's something to do with the operating system or whether it's something to do with running from these drives. So I'm going to test that theory. Probably just whack it like a 2.0 or 2.1 or something like that on and just see how it behaves. But yeah, I think just for what I'm doing at the moment, I can just have these drives sitting on top. For however long this drive keeps going, I'll keep using it. And same with this, you know, the old zip drives, the old click of death issue that the zip drives can have. That could be a problem down the track. I've only got one of those. I'm keeping an eye out for another SCSI one. The SCSI ones seem to be quite hard to come by, zip drives. I've got plenty of IDEs. I guess if worst comes to worst, I can run. I've got a Buddha IDE controller. Might have a couple of those. I could run an IDE zip drive, couldn't I? That'd be a neat thing to do, wouldn't it? To have an IDE zip drive in the Amiga, and then just use zip drives for booting the operating system. So, you know, there's another idea. Something to have a wee play with. I'm going to keep an eye out for a SCSI controller that's got the let me show you what I'm talking about. This is the connector that is on the back of the GVP, right? And that's what the zip drive is first in the chain, and then there's SupraDrive is looped off the back, daisy chained off the back of the zip. And the problem I've got is for the PC, I don't have a SCSI controller with this connector. Not sure how many pins that is, but I've got this, which was running the tape drive, so that you could plug this into your Amiga and then out to your 50 pin. Yeah, I was wondering about that. So I've got this one right that adapts, but it's adapting the wrong way, because I'd like to plug that. Oh yeah, could be handy. I'd like to plug that into my PC, that end, and then plug that, which should have to be the female version, right? This, so I can plug my drives in, and then I can image these here. That would be pretty handy. Oh, that'd be really good, Mev. If you've got something lying around you want to get rid of, that would be cool. If possible, if the controller was able to have both of these, or you know, some sort of adapter was able to have both that connector and the 50 pin, because I'd still want to use that for hard drives. Yeah, jeez. You must have had a big clean out at some stage, did you? I mean, it's the sort of stuff you'd just chuck, wouldn't you? As I said before, it's just, you go, whoever wants to use 50 pin bloody SCSI again in their lives? I mean, jeez. Just weird Amiga users. Yeah. Yeah, jeez, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I totally understand why it gets thrown away. We threw a lot of it away when I was working for the PC company as well. Not the PC company, a PC company I used to work for. Yeah. Righto. Thanks for keeping me company, guys. And yeah. Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah. Yeah, some sort of adapting adapter is what I need, potentially. All right. Thank you again. We'll catch you at some stage later in the week, maybe. Cheers. See ya. Oh, shall I raid Carsinomi, or shall I? You're probably watching him anyway, are you?